Welcome back, everybody, to the Star Wars Podcast, where we talk all things Marvel, Star Wars, and everything in between. Please take a moment to check our show notes to find our social media, merch, and more. Today, we are recapping the newest episode of Secret Invasion titled Beloved. So if you haven't seen the episode, I would get out of here. And I'm joined by a guy whose nickname in high school was Toe Jam. It's Tommy Pizzulo. Tommy, how's it going?
That's me, Toe Jam, coming in here. And, that really warms my heart, Michael, because all I wanted was someone to call myself Toe Jam, to feel myself beloved on the earth.
Okay, beloved.
As Toe Jam, yeah.
Hey, Tommy, you know what my favorite Gaia quote from this episode was?
What?
Daddy, when are we filming, Daddy? Come on, Daddy.
Do you know what that is?
No.
That's from an interview with Amelia Clark. She is doing an impression of Ben Mendelsohn. I don't know how that's been, but that apparently he does that on set. So it's not from the episode, but I'm going to get a lot of play out of this.
Daddy, when are we filming, Daddy? Come on, Daddy.
You really made me think like I watched the wrong episode for a second. I'm like scrambling in my brain like, all right, when did they talk about daddies on this episode?
Yeah. Okay, so now that we're off the rails, we will bring on our guest here. Two-thirds of the Why So Sideous podcast is our buddies JD and David. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. Love the use of that soundbite. Just expertly used.
Hello, good to be here.
Yeah, guys. Super
good.
Happy to have you guys here. David, you've been on before. This is your first time on like an episode recap. So you know what? I'll make you be quiet for a minute. I'll throw it to JD. JD, what has been your overall thoughts on Secret Invasion so far?
Ooh, I'm loving it. I think it's given me a little more hope in Marvel, where it was getting kind of scary for the past couple of years, minus Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Spider-Man No Way Home. It's been pretty mediocre. So I was really glad that this came out of the gate running and has that Winter Soldier vibe. It's kind of freaking out. I love the arc. I love that Nick Fury is like starting at it was a lot of fun. Seeing the Scrolls is so much fun. I mean, I've been a comic guy for quite a while. Scrolls are amazing. They're one of the most unique villains, so it's real cool to see them. My favorite Disney Plus series so far.
Hey, JD, I'm gonna cut. Sorry, you're lagging a lot. I think there's even a delay. I was thinking, do you want to try to hop out and come back if you can even hear me right now?
There's a big delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you heard.
Can you hear us, JD?
The only thing I could do is ask my wife to turn off all the Wi-Fi.
Also, StreamYard's weird though. It kind of resets when you leave and come back.
Because you were fine, but right before.
Yeah, before we went live.
Should I leave?
Leave and come back.
Okay.
No worries.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was on my end or not, because I know at one point I think I had to delay when I first joined, and so I was wondering if that was just coming through for me like that or not.
Yeah, that's weird. That's never happened. There was like a 5-second delay.
That was almost like 10 seconds. That was the longest delay I've ever heard.
I was like
super confused.
Yeah, I mean that's never. We've had bad internet on here, but never like a delay. Like that's
Yeah, I was just waiting for him to say something.
Well, that's why I was like, it has to be on StreamYard, I think. But let's see.
Okay. Yeah, we do it on Riverside. We've had every once in a while like a couple of second delay that we've had to deal with, but that was a long one. All right, can you hear us, JD? Hello.
Oh no, this is no good.
How's it work?
Oh,
how's it work?
If our voice just came through, that's like a 15-second delay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Can you hear us?
It's like 3 to 4 business days.
3 to 4 business.
Because he was completely fine. Like we were chatting a
might
little
be
bit
the-
before
Hear
you
me?
came in, David.
Okay.
It
We
might be
can
the
hear
live.
you. It's just like 20 seconds after we reach out to you. Oh,
Rest in peace.
Gosh, I'm hoping we keep get this. Yeah, it's I've had issues too where one time I think I had it where I was fine to everyone else, but to everyone else they came in so robotic, so I had to just nod and act like I knew. I was like, "This is great."
Good talk.
just talking about something horrible. Yeah, just smiling and nodding.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, mass genocide. Oh,
Oh.
Yes, I love
good
that.
point.
Oh crap.
No worries for us. I mean,
He says he's not sure what's going. Oh, here he comes. Okay.
Hey, can you hear us?
Let's see what we got. Third time.
Yep. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can, but we like you reply very, very late. Like
If it doesn't work,
Oh, wow.
it is quicker than it
Okay.
was.
I feel like you should just go ahead and continue without me. I don't want to hold you guys back. Yeah,
Well,
we'll try it next time.
man, I hate that.
It's coming in and out a little bit rough, but let's see. Respond back as quick as you can.
Yeah,
Go.
fuck it. It's all good.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure, man.
JD, we'll try again. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh no, I feel so
Yeah, no.
bad. That's horrible.
I know. I just appreciate him even trying multiple times for us.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, that's never a good feeling when I've been on that end before. My internet was delayed or lagging a lot. It's like shit. I feel like an asshole. Like
it's like you feel like you're like it never happens like this. I swear, this is the first time.
Oh god.
it happens to 1 in 5 podcasters.
So I think what I'll do here is I'm just going to edit all the way back to where I introduced you guys. So I'm going to reintroduce you, and
Okay.
We'll go from there.
All right.
And we're joined by 1/3 of the Why So Sideous podcast. I'm very excited to welcome back David to the podcast. David, how are you?
Doing good. Feel very thankful you invited me back. So happy to be here.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good sign, right?
Yeah.
No, we love chatting with you. Happy to have you back here, David. I want to get your takes here up top, though. What have you thought about Secret Invasion as a whole?
Oh man, I think right now I'm content with it. I think I really didn't know what to expect coming into this. I've read the Secret Invasion comic run with a lot of the tie-ins, kind of accidentally. I was a comic book rookie. But I read a lot of it. So I got the whole story and I'm like, I know they're not going to be able to do that. You can't do what they did on page on screen unless it's a massive budget movie. And so I didn't know how they were going to step around that and tell this story and, move forward a plot without doing that. And I think they've done a really good job so far. At least in my opinion, I'm enjoying it. I think there's been a lot of good performances acting wise. Some good tense stuff building up. And I think this episode had a solid action piece at the end. So personally, I'm pretty content right now. I'm nervous if they're going to land it or not, but that remains to be seen.
That's always the question with these Marvel
Yeah.
shows. It's like, yeah, we're doing good right now, but that doesn't mean anything really at the end of the day. Tommy, I'm a kind of a broken record at this point. Like I come on here and I praise it every single week, and you weren't here last week, so I want to get to your takes. How have things been going for you on this ride?
I think I like my cart went off on the left while everyone else's cart went straight ahead on this roller coaster because I don't know. I came on 2. I was so hyped. I thought 2 was it's still my favorite episode so far of the season. And I'm not hating it. I definitely am not. And like we talked a little bit beforehand, Michael, of like I have to rate this differently. Like Marvel content, I have to rate differently than I rate other TV shows and stuff because this is great for Marvel. Great, you're doing great if we just focus on Marvel stuff. But I think for me, where it's losing me is like 3 I feel like they're jumping very quickly into things to keep the thing moving forward. And I think they could take a little more time on some of these storylines. There's a lot of stuff. Priscilla is like they're in and out, and it's like I'm feel like I'm spending a lot of the time being like, okay, so when did she turn into the Skrull? When did he know? Is there's another Priscilla? How did he know her? And I like, so I feel like I'm not enjoying it because I'm constantly trying to keep track of all this new information I'm getting as the episodes are going. And I don't know, for me, like, feels like it's a lot of talking and then action in the last like 10 seconds of each episode. Someone's going to die every episode, it feels like, or a fake out death. So that's where I'm at. I think it has a lot of potential, and there's like, when it grips me, it grips me. The speeches in episode 2 were amazing. The speech in this one was also really good, between Priscilla and Nick Fury. So I have hope, but right now I need my cart to come back onto the track, Michael.
Tommy, it hurts my feelings to hear you talk. Like because I'm like, the things that you're describing are the things that I love. Like, kill somebody every episode. Like, like that. I'm here.
Fake out deaths, Michael. You're gonna lose me on a fake out death.
It was just one. They get
They get one.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. Nobody gets two.
Oh, beautiful.
So here's the thing. I get that. It was a big complaint that I had with Guardians, but like at the end of the day, I think Gravik is such a powerful villain because like he's actually doing things. Like, and you look at like the villains in She-Hulk, Mr. Immortal. Like the worst thing he did was jump out of a window. Like comically, like I don't know, just like
That's a different style of show.
it is. It's an unfair comparison, but yeah, he feels menacing. Like, and the way that like he's just cutthroat, like no pun intended by the end of the episode, but
menacing, totally. But I think maybe what I need is to know fully his reasons. Like I feel how dark he is right now. There has to be something that really broke this alien. And I feel like, and maybe I'm missing it. Like I feel like we haven't fully gotten what that is in depth. And maybe once I get that, then I'll feel more about this character. But right now, it feels a little evil mustachy. Other than like Nick Fury promised him things that obviously Nick Fury did not do.
I would agree with you on that one. Now, I like Gravik as a villain so far. I think they've really been building up this intimidating presence and this kind of chilling aspect to him. But I will say I am very curious still as to the deeper story to there, because it can't, for him to be as radicalized as he is, it can't just be the fact of, running out of patience waiting for a home. There's got to be something other than that broken promise, I feel like. So I'm hoping we're going to get some more on that. Maybe, I don't know if it'll be a flashback kind of sequence with Gravik or what the deal may be, but I will say, yeah, if they don't give anything else about his past leading up to this, I would feel a bit disappointed.
All right, Tommy, you point one for Tommy on that one. It's a good point that you've made. We don't know a whole lot about him, but for me, I guess like I think Gaia laid it out pretty well, where she's like, "Hey, at least this guy has a plan. Like he might be a little unhinged, but like." Yeah. We understand what he's trying to do in a very, very, in your defense, a very basic and generic way. But yeah, I guess we'll see where that goes for sure.
Yeah, it's like I think we're just right now on the surface level of like it's people that have been waiting around for change, not getting that change, and now one person maybe with the wrong way of going about it, but at least going about it. And so yeah, I see that side. I want a little bit more. I want to dive into the cake, get into the little stuffing that's inside of there. See what kind of frosting we're working with.
And it is tough with a 6-episode season that we have no promise of this going any further. We have no, rumors of a season 2 or a movie, which, on our podcast, we've kind of theorized. Feels like there's going to be a movie to conclude this massive story, because 6 episodes, especially after, take away the credits and intro, that was 29, 30-minute episode there. So it's hard. It is hard to get all that info into it in one thing, but I suppose movies have done it before, so there should be a way to bridge the gap. But he's not mustache twirly to me yet, but I would like to see some more backstory.
Well, let me ask you this, David, because I'm actually pretty unfamiliar of what the heck's going on with the Marvels, but that might seem like the spot to wrap some of the stuff up. And again, I don't know who the villain of the Marvels is. So, yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I don't remember if it was Caleb or Jeremy. I'm bad with the memories of that stuff, but one of them said that they theorized it could be the Marvels. I think it was Jeremy. And so I guess I could see that, but I don't know. I guess we haven't seen much in the trailer, so you can't say much about it, but it's a possibility. I would be surprised. I feel like the Marvels is going to kind of try to do their own thing a little bit, and mixing, two other characters in with Carol Danvers, it's going to get, there's a lot of stuff to fit into one thing. So if they added the scrolls as well, I would be surprised, but hey, I'm always here for it. If they're going to do it in a good way, I'm here for the story to be expanded upon, because there's a lot of depth and stuff we don't know.
Yeah. Tommy, is that pasta behind you?
Yeah, my cat just popped out of the window. I didn't even know she was back there, to be honest. She was just staying behind the curtain.
It scared me. I thought like a dead body had fallen out of your closet or something.
Surprise! I'm graphic.
Oh no.
No, and I think another Thunderbolts maybe for the government political side of things. Obviously, we know if you know Thunderbolt stuff, there's at least one thing that will be pushed forward depending on how this series goes with a certain government official. But yeah, I think, like I said, I don't hate it by any means. It's still engaging with me, and it's just for me, when I see ways for the writing to be a little bit crisper, I think that's when I get a little more critical. It's there's things that I would put into here, things that I would do a little differently, and that's okay too.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys ready to dive in the episode here?
Let's do it.
So the big thing we open on, to the surprise of literally nobody, Gaia is alive, thanks to her getting the extremist powers. So yeah, Tommy, what do you think?
Did we ever think we would see extremists in 2023? Did we ever think this would become a plot point?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I had to
not at all.
People were like, "Oh yeah, I'm like, "What is extremist? I don't even know what you're talking about." And I'm a big MCU fan.
We should make bingo cards. Little will this plot thread of Marvel ever come back up? And I don't even know if this would have been on mine.
No, I wouldn't have guessed it. Yeah, it was a big surprise seeing that on the computer screen, whatever, last episode or a couple episodes ago.
So, yeah, Gaia is back here. But we also get another flashback here in 2012 in Paris, which I presume is shortly after the Battle of New York. But this is Priscilla and them are talking about this poem called "To Be Beloved" by Raymond Carver. David, what did you think about this poem? That it seems to be the core of the episode here.
Yeah, I think it was interesting. I liked it. I like the dialogue going back and forth between the two in this scene and the later scene where they refer back to this poem that they're reading. How did she describe it? Short with words, but it packs a punch or something like that. Just kind of Nick Fury style. But I kind of attributed, the whole message to she wants to belong, or she wants to be beloved on the earth. And I think, obviously it's kind of signifying her as a Skrull, and Skrulls being on earth and having to remain in hiding their whole lives here. And they just want to be beloved for who they really are on this earth. They want to be just accepted. They don't want to keep hiding like this, and they're not finding a new home. So a lot of them just probably have this, yearning of just being accepted for who they are. So I thought it was a cool little touch to the Skrull struggle that isn't violent, it's just an emotional struggle they have.
Yeah, and Tommy, you hated this?
Well, actually, this is probably the thing I love the most, because I'm a huge Raymond Carver fan.
Really?
Yeah, he's actually one of my favorite writers. Cathedral, if you haven't, short story, really good. Probably his top story people know. Also, Robert Downey Jr. Stars in a movie based on a collection of his short stories. I know too much, it seems, about Raymond Carver. So yeah. And I love this, and I love what you said about David. I agree. I think that's the point is the Skrulls just want they don't want to be in hiding anymore. It's about embracing them and fully letting them be present.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card.
That I'm a huge fan of Raymond Carver.
Yeah.
I think I have his book somewhere right here.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
Somewhere.
There you go. Another thing that happens here is Priscilla, she pretty she basically accuses Nick Fury of being responsible of putting the Avengers together. She's like, only you would have done this. Did we like? I don't know, it's kind of a leap, right? Like it's a like
For her to know that,
yeah. I mean, for her to like guess, like I don't know, maybe he's talked
Yeah.
about this stuff in the past, but you know,
it seemed
makes
like it
me-
was directly after.
you know.
But yeah.
Yeah. It makes me feel like no other like government officials / shield agents are doing anything. Like, oh, if there's a wild thing happening, it's probably Nick Fury because he's the only one.
Yeah.
Nobody else does shit around there.
So, okay, so we go back to present day here, and this is we're kind of picking up from where we left off last episode, where again, surprise to nobody that it was Rhodey on the phone who was meeting up with Priscilla here at the church, and Rhodey at this point, like if you're not on the Rhodey Skull train, you must be a fool because he's like just pure villain here. Like now he is soliciting the wife of Nick Fury to kill Nick Fury.
Which great performance by Don Cheadle, by the way, because this did not come off like Rhodey at all. Really, you know, we get that whole scene. Or wait, that's later. But this scene in the church, yeah, it was just like I've never seen Don Cheadle act like that before. Like the just villainous, cold demeanor, yeah, just straight up malevolence pouring out of his mouth while he was talking. It was great. It just was totally away from James Rhodes, and yeah, I thought it was a great scene by Don.
Yeah, the character acting, if anything, is really working for me. I think we talked a week or two ago, Michael, about this performance. We're like, this isn't Rhodey. And then when we were like, if it's a Skrull, this is great. Don Cheadle's doing an amazing performance. If he is actually Rhodey, Don Cheadle, we got to talk because you're not playing Rhodey right now. So the fact that, yeah, he just reveled in it. The more it went on, I'm like, this is a whole entirely different character. And in the same... in the same character, I can feel the different beats that Don Cheadle is taking here, and I loved it.
Yeah. So, here's the thing, Priscilla, I'm upset with her. Like she does try to talk him down a little bit, but at the end of the day, you know, kind of skipping ahead, but she doesn't admit that she knows this. Like Fury has to find out by listening in, basically, and like. I don't know. It's just like you're gonna kill him. Like it's just a leap. It's a big leap.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if she knew. Until the next scene. I was wondering if she knew she was bugged, kind of deal, like the way she was speaking and everything. So I was kind of like trying to figure that out the whole scene. Like, you know, I don't know. Rhodey winks at her when he's walking off. She starts going in sentimental, and I just was trying to figure out if she was aware that she was being recorded that whole time, but I guess the next scene kind of signifies she didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I didn't even really consider that, but you know, maybe she doesn't say anything about it because she knows he knows. So,
Yeah.
But we'll see. Next here, well, we get a very quick scene of Gravik here. They're kind of preparing for their attack. But the bigger scene up next is this conversation between Gaia and Talos. And in hindsight, this does kind of seem like a final conversation here. And possibly the conversation that will motivate Gaia later to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's a motivation scene. It's the blood of Coulson on the Avengers trading cards at the, you know, in the middle of Avengers there to psych them up. Man, but Talos is he's coming off pretty naive in this conversation in a lot of ways. And he had a lot of parallels to the X-Men story in Charles Xavier. You know, Charles, he was always telling Eric, Magneto, you know, we just have to keep showing them we're good. We just got to keep showing them they can trust us. And eventually they'll accept us in the society. And Amelia just hit him with the just brutal, what would she call him? Delusional. You're delusional. You have no plan. Like what is that? And so, yeah, Talos was kind of coming off a little desperate here, but definitely noticed the X-Men parallels.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting about Talos of like, he's almost like your leadership style hasn't aged. It might be time for you to step down. And that's why people like Gravik are stepping in and being like, we need this revolutionary change because you're just sitting back on this naivety. With Gaia, I think to your point, I think like this, him dying at the end is the pivot. I think it would have worked a little bit better if we waited an episode or two for her turn. Have her still be in the naive, like Team Gravik until this, and then that death is what pushes her to flip sides. Because for me, I haven't felt what really got her to flip back, or was she always spying? And that's where I was kind of confused. Maybe you guys can help me here. Is like, what got her to be like, I'm going to give this evidence, and was it enough for you?
Well, she makes a comment here. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. She basically says, "I belong with you. Like you are like it's kind of a no-brainer that I'm going to work." Like I feel like there was a reluctance. She didn't always agree with him, but it's her dad, and like she was never gonna go against him. And again, kind of have to pull your own strings on that one, but that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, and we did get that line drop at the beginning, I think the first episode, where he says, the person you're working for killed your mother. And I think that was kind of the kind of catalyst to her starting to question, like, shoot, am I on the wrong side here? And maybe she was always conflicted the whole time, who knows, because she's going against her parents. But yeah, I think the fact that, and I'm hoping we get more from that too. Because I don't know, it felt like almost a throwaway line, but yeah, I think that was at least a catalyst for her kind of starting to question things. But
yeah, and I guess I just totally agree. I wanted more from it because it's like then she goes and gives them the fake bags and then still betrays them. Like it's like either have it start there in that first episode or have her be continuing to be nefarious until we get like a full moment of like, oh, now I have to side with my dad because now this is going too far against my dad. That's just my take, but.
So I'm going to make a comparison. I believe I've made this comparison before at some point because it is my favorite episode of The Walking Dead. And I guess slight spoilers, it's an old show. But Dale.
Listen, if you haven't watched it, you don't need to watch it either. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I mean, I like the first couple of seasons.
But
anyway,
go read the comic.
Yeah, read the comics. Actually, that's a good point. But there's an episode. It's Dale's final episode, and he's spending the entire episode trying to convince people not to kill this prisoner because he's like, have we gone that far? Have we lost all of our humanity? And he ends up dying at the end of the episode, and it does change some of the characters' perspectives based on that sacrifice that he had. And I feel the same kind of thing here where, Talos is really just like Gaia says, he has no plan, but his plan is like, let's just follow logic and good morals and let's not kill people, and then like his plan is kind of like rough. He's like, well, we'll just stop. We'll take it step by step here. We're going to stop them and then we'll ask for a reward basically. So yeah, he's very naive, but then also Gaia is just very extreme. So they're like on total opposite ends of the spectrum. And, maybe it did. And like, because she's still helping her father, but at the same time, you can tell by this conversation that she still has those ties and that trust and loyalty to Gravik as well. So again, I think this death is going to be that thing that crushes the extremity and their morals.
Mm.
So. No. The extremist is inside of her.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can't crush it. It's pretty strong.
Yeah. My bad there. So let's go back here to Fury and Priscilla. Fury's back home. He has his wedding ring off. You can tell he's a little upset here at the beginning when Priscilla walks in. But this leads to this probably my favorite scene of the episode. A lot of their conversation. I guess the one thing I didn't buy in this whole scene was this was the first time he heard the story about how she got her name and likeness. That might be a little weird, but everything else I really liked.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the first time, or because it almost at first I took it as he was saying like, "Tell me the story again," kind of deal to like get a read on her or something. But then, the whole way he reacted to it, I was like, that seemed like it was the first time he ever heard that, and it's kind of a creepy story. I don't know. I mean, I get the aspects where it's like kind of touching, and she got the blessing of this dying woman to take her likeness and take over it and all that stuff, but it's just kind of came off odd to me. I don't know if I'm dying if I would just trust an alien to carry my name and legacy and just like fill in and not have my family know and just be like, she's some alien I don't know a lot about. I'm sure she won't do something horrible in my name or anything, or I don't know. I just feel like I would never give that blessing to somebody carry on my likeness as I'm dying. That's wild to me.
David is really setting himself up to be a target for the aliens here.
It really sucks. I was really going to ask David if I could steal his identity after the podcast. So.
You know, I mean, you guys had me on. I guess you guys can, but in general,
yeah, there you go.
Maybe with the Skrulls is like you don't ask about the past. I wonder, but again, we should know this if that's the case. But like, I wonder if you don't ask about the self. We had that moment, I think, in 3 where he like mentions it, and she just kind of plays it off of like, "Where'd you get the body?" And she just kind of. So I wonder if it's just one of those like, don't ask, But I agree with you of like, the hospital was interesting. The line that got me that I want more on is when they kind of dance around the idea of like, was she planning to betray him from like the whole like, were you planning this from the beginning? And she's like, don't even go there. Like, don't even like that. To me was spicy. There was some juice there.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that we are supposed to walk away with here, we have the moment where they shoot and miss each other, and she even says like, my promise was I would never hurt you. So I think we're supposed to walk. Like again, I don't know. I would feel very slighted. I'm kind of with Nick Fury where he's like, you are the biggest mistake I've ever made. Like I'm on that level. I'm like, yeah, you should not be trusting this woman. She's like, yeah, she's going behind your back and having these conversations. I don't love it.
Yeah, it's another blow to his confidence there about how on top of everything he is, which, again, I got into it in our last episode, but a lot of his legacy is not built by himself there. But yeah, I love this scene in general. I thought it was 2 great performances by both of them. I thought there was a lot of tension building up to it. And I wasn't sure how it was going to play out while I was watching it. So it made it even better for me. I didn't predict that they were both going to fire and both, intentionally miss. I didn't know what was going to go down in that scene. So it made it enjoyable for me. And I don't know, like kind of like Fury said, he goes, I don't know whether to get divorced or to renew our vows. And that's kind of how I felt. I was like, I don't know whether to be like, that was very touching or to be disturbed by the scene, I don't know, but great performances.
Yeah. And I think like you touched on something that I'm interested in is like the legacy of Nick Fury crumbling away. Like I like Nick Fury a lot in the comics and specifically as a kid, I played the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games and Nick Fury was always this character that was like, he always is on top of things. Even if he's not, he has plan B, C, D, E all the way down the line. And so it's been very disheartening to see this MCU Nick Fury kind of crumble away. But I'm kind of changing my perspective of it of like, it's just a different take on Nick Fury. And it is interesting and it is crumbling away. And hearing about the fact that like, yeah, all the information that he got was basically just through Skrulls. All of his, like the things that we were like, wow, look at how impressive he is. It's because he had people that he happened to be the one agent that found these aliens that could do this thing for him. And he took advantage of it. It's interesting. I think like that's the stuff that is compelling me into this show and focusing on the character study of Nick Fury.
Yeah, well said. I think the final thing in this scene that we get here is where she asks him if he would love her if she was her true self, basically, if she was still a Skrull. And Nick Fury takes way too long to answer this. And then when he does, it's not a very satisfying answer. And this goes back to my theory last week. He never loved this woman. He has never, I don't think he ever has. Like, honestly, if this is the love of your life, why are you up on Saber when you could just come down and like, I don't buy. Like, I think Nick Fury doesn't like this woman because that's just that. I mean,
well, listen, that also is a trap question, Michael. That's like when your girlfriend asks you, like, "How do I look?" Yeah, you got to really try to like, "Oh, would you love me in my real body?" That's a real trap.
I kind of walked away from this scene having a little bit respect for Fury, being like, okay, he really won't. He's not gonna, he's not gonna BS you if he doesn't, because that would have been an easy thing to say, of course, or whatever, as you're walking out and you just saw that she was never going to take you out and that she does love you and everything. So it would have been easy to bluff. But yeah, he full on said the hard truth and said, I don't know, or I guess we'll never know. So like, all right.
Yeah. And again, like it goes both ways. Like I think Fury was a very bad husband, and also like stick up for yourself, dude. So this is just toxic through and through. I think that's the point we're walking away with. Yeah. But so this next scene, we get another interesting conversation between Fury and Rhodey, and this is where we finally get the reveal that Rhodey is a Skrull. Yeah, I don't know that anybody was surprised by this. Maybe I'm wrong.
You know, I called it. I knew from the beginning, Michael. He's shifty and he was up to no good. Yeah, this group reveal was great. This whole scene was interesting. At first, I was like, man, this roadie is dumb. Like, this scroll roadie is a dummy. But I think that's kind of the point. Like, he almost seems too high on his own supply, where he's like, look at me, I'm going to take out Nick Fury. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And like him drinking the whiskey after like being like, it might be bugged, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to finish the whole thing and also show up to this very important thing drunk. Like, I think that's how we're supposed to walk away from him. Is kind of feeling like he's not supposed to be the best Skrull ever. He just happens to be the Skrull in Rhodey's body who thinks he's like puppeting the president, saying things like, oh, the president doesn't learn things unless I, tell him.
Yeah, he's cocky. For sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that it's seemingly tricked by the line of, I just want my job back. As soon as Fury said that, he was like, oh, that's why he's here. And then he started drinking and stuff. It's like, there's no way you actually believe that's why he broke into your apartment, right? Or into your hotel suite. But yeah, I don't know what to think about this female Skrull who has taken over Rhodey. It's very interesting. She gets out of the shower there and is cherishing, her Skrull skin. And is really just taking it all in. And as soon as she transforms into Rhodey, she's got this disgusted look on her face, which obviously the obvious is she hates having to cover herself up from her true nature. But it kind of also told me she hasn't been Rhodey for that long. Because if she's been taking over Rhodey for like 5 years, I don't think she's still making this disgusted, uncomfortable look in the mirror. I think she is recent. So I think with all the theories of when did Rhodey actually become a Skrull, I think it was recent. I think the earliest is maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks that she's just a reckless Skrull who, yeah, she's cocky regardless. But I almost think this Skrull could end up being like the secondary villain and possibly like not as powerful. So in the comics, there's a Queen Skrull who's a really, big character in the Secret Invasions. Part of me is thinking maybe, she ascends the ranks and becomes Gravik's right hand. Well, whether she's Rhodey or whatever the case, right hand person stepping up. I'm curious to see, but I kind of feel like she might end up being somewhat of a Queen character.
Yeah, I can say I think I'm higher on her than you guys are, where I think she's pretty smart, where she perfectly counters Nick Fury here with the video of him killing Maria. Like, basically, he or she pulls up that video, and Nick's like, well, that's checkmate. I'm out of here. And he leaves. Like, I thought.
But it wasn't checkmate, though. He put the liquid tracker in there. That was his plan all along. Like, it was a chess match. She was playing checkers. He was playing chess. She just got the piece, and great. But he's the one. Listen, at the end of the day, they blew up their plans at the car thing, and that only happened because Nick Fury was able to outmaneuver her.
Tommy, are you saying that you would have predicted they had liquid tracking technology?
I wouldn't have took the drink. I would have thought it's poison or anything. I just wouldn't have drank it.
This 23-year-old Pappy.
Yeah, they really wanted to sell that. This thing is you can't give up this Pappy. You have to drink it.
You will disrespect everybody who has ever been an ancestor of yours if you do not take this drink right now.
Maybe I'm underestimating the Pappy. Maybe that's what it is. Like,
called peer pressure.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from this whole conversation? Yeah. So we did the next scene we get here. We're kind of getting into like the final action scene here, but there's a scene where Rhodey meets the president. I thought this was really fun. Where like, again, it just kind of shows that this Skrull is not as no Rhodey, right? When the president's like, "Did you drink half a bottle of bourbon?" Like, I just thought that was kind of great.
Yeah. You pregame?
Yeah.
And then breath mint, please. Yeah, that's your smart queen getting drunk on the job.
I mean, listen, maybe I relate. I don't know. Okay. So yeah, this is where I'll kind of open up this whole final action sequence we get here, because there's a lot of stuff that happens. I mean, you get Nick Fury with a rocket launcher, you get them saving the president, And we obviously end on Talos's unfortunate demise, or I think we can say death at this point. I think it's safe to say. But yeah, what was y'all's takeaway from this final scene? Oh, and we see the Super Scroll powers too. The Groot arm. He Groot somebody to death.
Yeah. I am Gravik.
It is risky to take that potion. What if like he shoots himself up and then he's like, I am Groot. Like he can't speak English anymore.
Right. That'd be great plot twist.
Yeah. Yeah, Tommy, what do you did this work for you? I thought the effects here were really great.
Yeah, I think it's every time I feel like we talk about action, it's always that way for me. I'm like, oh, it's really interesting. They do a really good job. I don't really have any qualms with the action scene here. I think it was interesting when I think the biggest beat for me was like Nick Fury being like he's with us and all that stuff going down, and super tragic here. Definitely feel like it has to be, especially with the fake out last episode with the death. If this isn't, then like you be ready next week when I'm coming on. Okay.
Listen, if that happens, I'm with you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing, and because when you feel like kind of heartbroken watching something like that, like Guardians, I won't get super into that, but there was, a couple fake out deaths there. And I feel like it's better to go with the death sometimes, if you hit that feeling where the audience is crushed, but like it works in the way that it was written, then stick with it, have some balls. So I feel like that scene hurt because I love Talos. I love Ben Mendelsohn's portrayal of that character. I absolutely love every second of screen he's on. So that hurts to see him get killed like that. But man, and I feel like it's a 50-50 chance they might, I don't know. I don't know at this point. I think Guys was obviously much more obvious that she wasn't dead. I mean, it's not even close there, but I think there's still a possibility they try to pull it off here. So in a weird way, I don't want them to be dead, but I don't want them to do another fake out death. But totally agree, dude. The CGI in this scene, I thought it was great. I thought they did a solid job. It was very entertaining. And it was cool seeing Fury still making waves, like you said, he's got the rocket launcher shot, which obviously is his classic shot from the Avengers when he takes down that jet going off the helicarrier. So that was dope. And as soon as you see Gravik realize that Fury is out in the field, like he is visibly shaken when he hears somebody say, Fury's out here. And he Fury is still causing that panic in these people. And we see him kind of getting close to being his competent, solid character. But then at the end of it all too, he stopped Gravik's plan. The whole plan was a false flag attack, to show Russia being the attackers, and Fury forced Gravik to drop his charade and to show his cards earlier than he wanted to by doing the Super Scroll move there. So I thought it was cool seeing Fury get the upper hand there. And I loved the Super Scroll first scene of it. I thought it worked great. That was the bone crunching Groot attack and everything. Oof, brutal.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I have anything else to add on this? So what's going to happen next year? So Nick Fury drives off with the president. I thought they kind of let him get away with the president a little too easy. The secret. I know they're like in the middle of a battle, but like somebody should have their eye on the president and not let Nick Fury take him in a car. But do you think Nick Fury is going to get in his ear, Tommy, and get his job back? Maybe, I don't know.
Hopefully. I feel like this president seems pretty easy to convince about anything.
Yeah, Frody is the one that's manipulating it.
Yeah. Also, didn't really punish his subordinate for being drunk. Like this president needs to go back to president school or whatever. Wherever they learned that.
Tommy, can we say Scrody now?
I don't want to.
I like it.
We can.
We definitely can. And I will, actually.
I do think this is like the pivoting point because, like, to what you're saying, David, like, Gravik has had the upper hand every single time. It's like, even when a plan seems like Nick Fury trumped him, he's like, it didn't really matter. That was to, get the spy out. That was to do this. That was to that. This is the first time I think he is scared where he had to, improvise a little. So I think that's where we're coming from now is like obviously this is going to be tragic with the death of her dad, but I think having a guy back on his side, maybe working with Nick Fury, is where we're going, I think.
All right. Well, I think that's the episode, guys. I don't know if there's anything else we want to touch on.
Oh, I did want to say, sorry, last thing, nitpick kind of at the very, very end of the episode. Is there a reason why Gravik didn't shoot Fury there?
I think he likes effing with Fury.
He's just messing with him. Okay.
Because he could have done the same. Yeah. Well, or maybe he's continuing to frame him for things because he had the opportunity in the first episode as well. But I think later we see that it was to frame. I don't know. It's a good point.
I wonder if it comes up with the backstory that we're asking for. I wonder if there's more history between these two, and like that he can't kill him. Like, and there's like he's gonna do everything but kill Nick Fury. He wants the demise of him, but because it's the fact that now it's multiple times. That would solve all his problems. Just kill him, then you're fine, and you could do everything you're wanting to do. And so I think if we're gonna get any backstory flashbacks, it's going to be about like their like maybe father and son-ish relationship.
Yeah, I like it. And yeah, I mean, Fury is broken, man. I mean, God, he lost his he lost Maria Hill in the first episode. He lost his wife essentially, and then he just lost his best friend there, and he was
lost his Poppy,
lost his Pappy bottle. I mean, lost Tony Stark. The man is losing everything. So yeah, I guess keep him alive and make him suffer and ruin his legacy is a better plan.
Let me throw a theory out here. This came to me via the Nerd Dose podcast. So shout out to them. But this is a theory that kind of broke my brain. What do you guys think? Is there a possibility that Gravik is Fury's son? You both look broken now.
I thought about it for a second, but wasn't he already like a teenager when he met him?
Yeah, we saw the scene.
But that could be the first time he's meeting him. I mean, that some people don't meet their dads for a while.
I guess if Skrulls grow up super fast, they age quick. Because I forgot what year that was when they were introduced. It was in the 90s at some point, but
okay, just something to think about. I did open up the Instagram for some feedback questions. If you want to plow through those really quickly. Tommy, I'll throw this one to you. The Galactic Core podcast wants to know, how are they going to kill Gravik now that he's a Super Skrull?
Maybe to his heart. I don't know if you can.
I think Gaia kills him because she's a Super Skrull. I think the only thing that's going to be Super Skrull is another Super Skrull.
Do you think it's going to be a sacrifice? Like she like takes him and they like sacrifice each other and go out in a burning fire.
Interesting.
Ooh, I like it.
Because I don't know if I see Emilia Clarke. Like I knew that she would be in this full season, but I don't know if I see her being in the MCU.
Yeah, I agree. I
don't know that she's kind of weird. She she doesn't really she's very weird about some stuff. Like she has no interest in doing the Game of Thrones thing anymore. Like she's very much separate from her work. So I think she'd be happy with a one and done season.
I got it. We get Gravik to fully embrace the Groot side, become the giant Groot ball. Then he'll become baby Gravik, and we can reform him and reshape him into a new world.
No, my friend. Try again.
Okay, so just want to shout out, Luke. We kind of answered the question: how long has Rhodey been a Skrull? I don't know if you guys have anything else on that. I mean, I would say that's probably just this series. I think the last time we saw him was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There was no red flags there. He was actually like a very loving presence on that show. So I would say that it definitely started at the beginning of the show, and we'll probably find out at some point when we find the real Rhodey what's going on there. So.
I think it's the same with the agent in the first episode. I think it was a plot point. So I think if they ever get asked, they're gonna be like, yeah, it was before, it was after their last movie and before this movie, conveniently. So we don't have to focus too much on was that them, was that not them in that movie?
Right.
I also see now Danny Fandoms had a similar question, so thank you guys. Last one, I'll throw it to David. Survivor Joshua, good buddy Joshua, friend of the show. He asks, where does this rank so far in the Marvel shows? I honestly don't know. So what do you think? Where does this stand for you, David, so far?
It's interesting because Moon Knight was kind of a polarizing show, and I'm actually in the middle of rewatching it. I love the first half of it. It's got some slow spots after that and whatnot, but I think as it stands, I'm going to put Loki at the top spot, and this is at number 2. But I could easily see Marvel not landing this ship and it dropping below a couple shows there. But I think it's at my 2 spot right now. I'm loving it.
It's up there for me as well. I think like I always hover between Loki, Hawkeye, and I think Secret Invasion is going to be in that mix now of like more just a top 3, not to necessarily rank them.
Yeah. Is WandaVision that low? Am I the only one
It's
that like
it's
like
right below that. I like WandaVision.
I liked it too, actually. Yeah, it's I don't know. It might even be above Moon Knight. I don't know. They're very close. There's a lot of great stuff in WandaVision.
For me, WandaVision sets up Wanda to the point that we love her in without WandaVision and fully understanding her character and seeing this like full demise of her, then Doctor Strange isn't really you can't get what you get out of Doctor Strange without WandaVision. And I can't say that about a lot of the other shows where they actually are influencing the movies and stuff.
Okay. No,
good point.
Very good pitch there, Tommy. Yeah. Tommy, do we want to close the show with some recommendations?
Yeah, I have some recommendations up in here besides Raymond Carver.
Okay.
My favorite author, as we have learned on the podcast.
Check out Cathedral.
It's a really good story. Yeah, it's a really good short story. Yeah, I can start this off. We talked briefly about this, Michael, but a movie I really enjoyed. It was on the Netflix. Nimona is a movie that has recently come out. It is animated. It is based on a graphic novel. Nate Stevenson, who does a lot of projects out in the world of animation. It's awesome. I thought it was a really great movie. A lot of really great themes. Again, more representation of LGBTQ, which is great. There's a lot of like really compelling dialogue. And I think if you want to go check out a movie like that, you should go check it out.
I wasn't sure where this movie. Once you said that there is LGBTQ representation, I knew it wasn't a Disney movie, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. That's the whole story of it. It's been like a 6 or 7 year project. It was originally at Fox or through Fox. When Disney bought out Fox, Disney decided to nix the project because of exactly what you're saying.
Wow. I called it.
You knew exactly what you're saying. And so then it got picked up. And so that's the other reason I want to support it, is just to kind of give, as much as we're talking about a Disney property, but also give an FU to Disney. A kiss, a same-sex kiss is not a big deal. Is this a hot take now in 2023, Disney? Jeez, sorry. But
Tommy's got a lot of gripes with Disney recently. We know Bob Iger's a super villain.
Don't you get me started on it.
You didn't like his announcement recently?
Oh, no, I did not. I did not like that announcement. I did not like the necessary evil of letting people, writers in the industry, lose their apartments so that they can get the deal that they want. I didn't love that either from the executives over at the big Hollywood corporations.
No.
Yeah. Not a fan of people losing their homes a little.
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing to just be talking about being a good thing, but hey.
But hey, Nimona, go check it out on Netflix.
All right. Okay. David, is there something you want to leave the audience with? Something you've been watching that you want to tell people about?
I've been watching a lot of rewatches, but I'll pitch something I read recently, if that's quite all right.
Yes.
So just finished a book up called How the Force Can Fix the World. And so it's actually by author Stephen Kent, and we were this seems kind of biased, but we were fortunate to have him on the show as our first guest spot recently. So that episode will actually be coming out pretty soon. But basically, he just dives into a lot of the stuff that's out in the world today. There's obviously a lot of drama, a lot of crap going on in the world today, and he just kind of ties it in to a lot of key points throughout Star Wars and key messages of Star Wars and how Star Wars plot points and overarching themes and the entire story of it really can fit into day-to-day life. And it gets very deep and philosophical at points, but it also, tickles that nerd bone there where I want to retract that statement.
Daddy, when are we filming, Daddy? Come on, Daddy.
Oh, no. It tickles that nerd itch. That's a better tickle phrase, I guess. I should probably stop using that word, but it's cool. It's very, if you're a nerd, you're a big Star Wars person. And if Star Wars has always meant more to you than just the movies and whatnot, I think you'll get a lot out of it. So it's on, Audible and Amazon, I think, but yeah, very, very interesting read.
Awesome. That sounds great. What do I have? So, Tommy, I'll recommend this to you because I know you just don't watch reality TV anymore. But
Yeah.
Claim to Fame season 2 is very good. If you don't know what Claim to Fame is, what it is, it's a group of people that live in a house, but the catch is each of them are related to a celebrity, and their celebrity is a secret. So the other players have to figure out which celebrity they're related to, and if they guess correctly, they're eliminated, and so on and so forth. But it's so much fun because like you're getting these people that like have lived in the shadows of their celebrity for so long, and like when you come from like these awesome families, like you're bound to be like also a really great character. So I've had a lot of fun with Claim to Fame. If you're into reality TV, check that out.
What is that on? Because I've heard about that actually on a couple podcasts, and it sounded pretty interesting. But
I watch it on Hulu. It comes
Okay.
on some basic cable, but it comes on Hulu the day
I
after.
think it's NBC if I'm.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But Michael, I do watch Claim to Fame. I was a day oneer. I saw it back before a bunch of people because season 1 I feel like didn't get a ton of promotion, and then people were like, "Wait, no, this is actually really gold and good stuff." It's another show. Is a lot of times I try to find shows that me and my girlfriend will both watch together because surprise, she does not like a lot of the animes I watch. So Claim to Fame is one of our joint shows that we watch.
There you go. Good stuff. David, thank you so much for doing this. You never disappoint when you come on the podcast. It's always great chatting with you. So I want to give you the chance to tell people where they can find your podcast and anything else you're up to online.
Oh, well, thank you. Honestly, it was a blast to be back on. So thank you for having me back. You can find us at Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at So Sideous Pod, and we are struggling to do threads as well. I don't really know how it works, but we're there. So if you want to come on over, that'd be cool. And you can obviously find our podcasts on Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher. Except Stitcher's actually going down. It's closing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, within like the next month. So hop on over to one of the other podcast platforms, and that's where we'll be. So yeah, you can always follow us. We're always covering all the latest stuff as well, and we still got our box office draft going on, which I don't want to brag, but I'm doing pretty good. Caleb needs Mission Impossible 7, and I don't know, I forgot the other movie to do really well. But other than that, we're in a tight race for this competition. JD had a rough go of things. He had the Flash, so what are you going to do? But yeah, so we got that going, and we will have a Rebels breakdown study guide kind of deal to prep you for Ahsoka coming out, and some of our novice nerd episodes where we break all the rookie stuff down. If you're a newcomer, we'll explain everything to you. So we got all that stuff coming out soon.
Yeah, that's great. Tommy, have you gone into the threads yet?
I got a thread. I don't think I've looked at it once since I got the profile for it.
It kind of functionality is fine. It works well, but like I'll do that because the great thing about Threads, so it automatically imports your Instagram followers. So everybody from your Instagram that has joined Threads,
Right.
they're already on there. So I started with 200 followers, but then I'll thread something and nobody replies. It's like a dead zone. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I never get anything on it. I haven't even seen any of yours yet, so I wonder how the algorithm works. Because I don't think I've seen anything pop up. I never had Twitter.
I've done 3. I've had to delete them so I don't look like an idiot that didn't have anybody reply.
I got to delete some stuff then.
Michael's gonna create 10 fake accounts so he can just his tweets thread so he doesn't have to. Had to delete them. No, I have not threaded enough because I barely Twittered. I basically just use Twitter to use the what's happening now option so I can see, oh, there's an earthquake in California, things like that. That was basically all I used for my news. Was basically all I used Twitter.
And now it's not even that anymore. So
I know.
I don't know what it is now, but yeah, I was never on it. So Threads is my rookie Twitter year, I guess.
There you go. Yeah, so go check out Star Wars Pod. We need the love, I guess, on Threads. If this thing is gonna last, I guess. Yeah, but the algorithm sucks. I go on there, I'm like, who are these people that I don't know anybody. I'm just scrolling through, and you can't just go to your following. I don't know. This is a whole different podcast. I'll wrap it. All right, guys, I'd like to remind you guys to rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify, preferably 5 stars. Also, please subscribe because we're going to be here every single week with Secret Invasion coverage. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Star Wars Pod. And we also have a Discord community going on. So if that's something you're interested in, you can hit us up and we will get you in there. But that is all we got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Just like traffic. Bye.